The world you knew has already collapsed. Asterisk only noise, anxiety, and emptiness remain. Nietzsche warned us long before we were ready to listen. In this video, you'll discover how his vision of the last man describes our current reality with chilling precision. Stay until the end to understand why none of this is a coincidence. The Western world didn't break all at once. It emptied itself from the inside, slowly, silently, like a body that keeps walking even after the soul is gone. Friedrich Nietzsche saw it with brutal clarity. By killing God, we were also bleeding meaning to death. And it wasn't a celebration, it was a warning, because behind the euphoria of progress, the end of religious dogma, something far deeper was hiding. A directionless abyss, a void no one knew how to fill. The death of God wasn't the end of a belief. It was the collapse of an entire system of values, a moral framework that had sustained Western life for centuries. Nietzsche knew that without that pillar, everything else would fall apart. There would be no absolute good or evil, no reason why. Humanity would become free. Yes, but free to lose itself, free to fall into nihilism. And that is exactly what is happening. What Nietzsche foresaw wasn't a war or a natural catastrophe. It was something far quieter and more devastating. The rise of the last man, a human being who desires nothing higher, believes in nothing, fights for nothing. He lives anesthetized by fleeting pleasures, empty entertainment, comfortable routines. He says he is happy, but he feels nothing. He believes he is free, but he is domesticated by his fear of pain, failure, and deep effort. There is no purpose anymore, only distraction, no meaning, only consumption. Life has become a sequence of satisfied impulses: the morning coffee, the social media like, the body scan in the mirror, the job routine that kills you from the inside, all wrapped in an appearance of emotional stability that hides deep resignation. For Nietzsche, religion wasn't just a doctrine, it was an existential axis. It gave form to chaos, it ordered suffering and turned it into a path. By removing it without a real replacement, Western culture became orphaned. There is no longer solid community, no real belonging, no rites of passage. What remains is forced individuation, emotional isolation, liquid morality. Everything can be questioned. Nothing has weight. Traditional values didn't disappear because they were overcome. They dissolved because faith in any foundation was lost. Because if everything is relative, then nothing matters enough to be defended with one's life. Nietzsche's warning was not a shallow critique of Christianity. It was a visceral cry against the loss of the collective soul. The problem wasn't the fall of religion, but the void it left behind. In its place, Western society built not a deep alternative, but a facade of freedom that hides emotional slavery, inner fragmentation, and anxiety silenced by constant stimulation. Today, the last man doesn't wear a robe or carry a spear. He carries a smartphone and headphones. He doesn't seek transcendently survival. He doesn't ask who he is, just tries not to feel empty. He replaced spiritual seeking with productivity routines. The temple with the gym, the altar with the algorithm, ritual with viral content. New forms of worship are perfect bodies, plastic lives, instant gratification. But beneath that mask of happiness beats an exhausted, frustrated, anesthetized generation. The religious decline brought a superficial freedom. Fear of eternal punishment disappeared, but so did forgiveness, sacrifice, and the structure that once organized inner chaos. Now each individual must build themselves from nothing, with broken tools and no guide. There is no shared narrative to sustain them, no collective purpose. Everyone must invent their own meaning and justify their existence every day. Morality stopped being a compass and became currency. Goodness is no longer measured by principles, but by appearances. Honesty, compassion, humility, empty words without solid ground beneath them, and that ground has turned to dust. What was once conviction is now social strategy. What was once value is now personal branding. Meanwhile, anxiety flourishes. Depression multiplies. New generations, without clear direction, oscillate between infinite options and the inability to choose. Because when everything is possible, nothing has meaning, and when nothing has meaning, pleasure is all that remains. But pleasure without meaning is just a refined form of escape. In this void, new rituals emerge as parodies of the sacred, festivals that promise transcendence through chemicals, influencers selling purpose in 15-second capsules, motivational talks that reduce the soul's complexity to 5 steps and a smile. Everything feels like a pale imitation of what once held humanity from the depths. Nietzsche didn't want to return to the past. He wasn't nostalgic for religion or a defender of dogma. He was a visionary who understood how fragile the human being is without a deep axis. His critique of Christianity was brutal, but so was his warning about what would come after. Because the problem isn't just that the world is broken, it's that no one knows how to rebuild it. The West celebrated the fall of heaven without realizing the ground was collapsing too. Now we walk on ruins, believing we are freer because we obey no one. But we still obey. We obey the algorithm, success, the body, performance, self-image. We changed God's bit. We still worship. The last man obeys without knowing it. He thinks he chooses, but he is chosen. He thinks, but he repeats. He thinks he expresses himself, but he simulates. He lives trapped in a loop of stimuli that distract him from the essential question, why am I alive? The answer no longer matters. What matters is that it doesn't hurt. And yet, it hurts. Because the soul didn't disappear, was silenced. And that soul screams as anxiety, insomnia, addiction, unexplained sadness, existential exhaustion. This is not an individual failure, it's a collective symptom, the echo of a humanity that has lost its compass. Nietzsche also spoke of a way out, but it was neither easy nor comfortable. The path toward the Bermanche human being who recreates himself and creates his own values don't pass through comfort or social validation. It passes through the death of the ego, the confrontation with the void, the rebuilding from ruins. But that doesn't sell. That's not trendy. That scares people. That's why the last man prevails best. It's easier. Modern life has turned the sacred into entertainment. It has commodified everything. Given spirituality, even inner searching. Everything is packaged, monetized, reduced. And in that process, the human becomes smaller, more disconnected, more programmed, more submissive. But Nietzsche didn't write for the submissive. He wrote for those who can't settle for what exists, for those who feel something is wrong, even if they can't name it, for those willing to look at the void without anesthesia and begin again, not with easy answers, but with courage, with rebellion, with truth. If something inside you was stirred, it's because this chaos has a name and Nietzsche already spoke it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, activate the bell, and comment on what struck you most. See you in the next video.